I want to check in with Jefferson Parish.
Yeah, Cynthia Lee Sheng, the parish president, is with us right now, and obviously we're all watching Grand Isle.
Yes, I'm at the EOC right now in Gretna, and we have a camera that I'm looking at Grand Isle every few minutes. So we're seeing that, it doesn't look that terribly bad now, but the conditions are definitely getting more serious, than an hour ago. So, our prayers are with the people on Grand Isle. I'm estimating that I spoke to Mayor Carmodell earlier today. He thought there was still about 40 people left on the island.
And you just mentioned, you've been watching these updates. We've been watching the storm intensifying. How are you feeling at this point? I know you've been monitoring this like the rest of us for days now.
Well, the last couple weather, updates we've had, it hasn't been good for us.
Right.
It was hard news, hours ago when it is looking like it was going right over Grand Isle. So it's been tough. I'm waiting for an update that is more favorable for us here in the parish. But we're going to deal with it whenever we can. Our teams are ready to go out and do search and rescue already. I'm with some firefighters and some police in here at the EOC, and they're just ready to go out and do their best work. So we're going to be patiently waiting. And I know we have the worst ahead of us, and we haven't started really feeling the effects up here. It's going to be a long couple days ahead for us.
And kind of talk about some of those conditions you have to wait for to start those rescue operations.
Well, they have to wait until we can get out, that our first responders can get out, and then their first, order of business is just clearing the roads. And that's why we're asking everybody, when this storm passes, please stay inside. If you don't have an urgent need to leave, and if you're safe staying in the house, please, it's dangerous conditions. So they're going to get out and make sure all the roadways are cleared and remove trees and check that. And then they're going to start looking for whoever needs assistance, and they're going to start the search and rescue. They'll be down in Lafitte. They'll be down in Barataria, Crown Point, because we know there are people there. Those roads will be flooded, so they're going to go out and get those people and bring them to safety.
For those who didn't watch your press conference last night, tell us more about those evacuations, where it's mandatory, where it's voluntary, some of the road closures, everything people need to know who live in Jefferson Parish.
Yes, I called a mandatory evacuation for outside of the hurricane protection system. So that would be the Grand Isle area, of course, Lafitte, Lower Lafitte, Barataria, and Crown Point. And then within the hurricane protection system, we did a voluntary evacuation. And I do believe many people left. I was out driving the roads a couple hours ago, and it really seemed very empty. All my friends left, my family left. So that's good news for us. I know it was long trips to get to Florida and Houston today. I heard, but I'm glad they're out of the cone, and I'm glad they're safe. And I'm sure they're all praying for us, that those that are in here. And we're going to try to hope that this goes through not as catastrophic as it could be. We're gonna really hope for the best. And I know everybody is sending us, their prayers.
And we definitely appreciate it. Let's talk about these updates. The storm surge totals have not been great at all. I know that's a big concern for those lower lying areas. In some areas, we're looking at as much as 15 to 16 feet of storm surge being anticipated.
Yeah, and that's just the danger. I'll say time and time again, all the weapons of a hurricane we're very susceptible to in Jefferson Parish, because we have the lower lying areas and the storm surge. And, if you haven't been to Grand Isle already had a lot of land loss, but it is a narrow island. It's got houses on both sides and one road going down the middle. So it takes the first punch for us. If the storm gets weaker up here, it's because Grand Isle and those areas take the first punch for us. And that's when those storm surge numbers came out. I realized it was a very, very dire situation for us, very life-threatening situation for us. So I think I think more people got out of Grand Isle than normal. A lot of times people want to stay, and that was really good news. The mayor really thought probably 95% of the island evacuated. So that was good news. But of course, we're very, very concerned about the people that are still on the island.
And of course, it's 4:40 in the morning. You're talking with us. You just got off the air with CNN. The Emergency Operations Center, what do you do from here? Is it just sit and wait now?
We sit and wait, and we will respond. I remember one storm before it got bad, there was a fire and we were responding to. So we have not had any activity now. Thank goodness there's not a lot of activity. There's nobody on the street. So hopefully we're just going to sit and wait for the storm to pass. I think it's going to be quite a long time. We'll be here. And then, these folks are ready to go to action, as I've said. So I'm probably here in this building with about 70 people, maybe.
Wow.
So, it represents all our partner agencies and any kind of need we have. These are the folks that communicate with their agencies and really have all the resources to bear for us in Jefferson Parish. So this is our Emergency Operations Center. So we're here and we're just hoping for the best. And our folks are ready to do work. They're ready to get out there. So.
All right, before we let you go, we just want to give you a final word to speak to your residents, what they should be doing in these final hours before we really start to see the bad impacts of the storm.
So remember, the secondary effects of the storm in Louisiana are almost as dangerous as the direct effects. So, people can get after storm, and that's where we're looking at now. We want you to stay where you are until the storm passes. But remember, the dangers are there. And in Louisiana, we've lost a lot of lives to people post-storm. So whether it's trees down, whether it's live electricity, whether it's generators being improperly used, be very, very careful. Once the storm passes does not mean the threat is over. There are many, many more threats out there. So we need to minimize the injuries because remember, we're a COVID community. Our hospitals are already filled. So let's not have anything that we don't need to happen just because of actions that we could have waited on. So that is really my message to the citizens of Jefferson Parish.